So the final question here from the chat is from DC Miller. Are writers open to writing every day, or is this something you guys already do? A scheduled hour or two to sit and write, regardless of if it ends up with a good result? Do you guys do that?
I found that in my experience, writing every day is not writing every day. It's just trying to think narratively and analytically about your story. I always think about when you like turn off a car engine and you can kind of hear the clicking sound of the engine. I always feel like when you write and then you go off to have dinner, take a shower, whatever, like you're still thinking about the story and still piecing together. And I think that is still writing. So I and also at the same time I write like haikus just to kind of like as almost like warm-ups, just to kind of get something going, or I play like a spatial awareness puzzle like Portal or something like that, just to kind of like keep up my divergent thinking.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. How about you, Nandor? Do you do write every day?
So I yes and no. Like I'm open to writing every day. Sometimes you just don't have the time, or you're really tired, after work or whatever. Like, I mean, there's other commitments that come up, but I am always thinking about my story. And a lot of the time, I find that my best writing is done when I can't do anything else. Like I'm like, okay, I have to sit down and write. Like it's calling me. Like when the story is telling you need to write me, because you don't, like, as a writer, you don't feel like you are living up to your potential or who you are as a person if you're not writing. It's like what you were destined to do, and you feel that like destiny calling you. It's like you feel called to be a writer. It feels like a calling more than, something that you are like forcing yourself to do. It's like you can't do anything else. It's like you have to do it. And so I also get really agitated when I'm reading a really good book or watching a really good movie, because I'm like, crap, I haven't been sitting down and doing this. Like I need to do this. And so
when you're blown away by something, you're
like, dang it, like tonight I'm going home and I'm working on this thing because it's been stirring. I think great stories marinate. I think you have to think about them for a while. I think you can write a few pages, think about it, get back to it, see like, okay, do I like where this is going? Is this, where I wanted it to be? J. Michael Straczynski had a really good tip where when you're working on a project and you're doing your writing, don't finish the scene that you're writing.
Yes.
Because the next day or the next time you get to write, like you can't help but want to go back and write it, because you're like, I know how this is supposed to finish. And when you're done with the scene, it's like a mini completion. It's like mission complete. You finish that scene. It kind of gives you leeway to be like, oh, I like when I get back to that, I know where to pick up from. But if you leave it hanging, it just helps you get back in the zone and where you need to be, and that way you can transition into the next scene or the next part of it.
That's an interesting theory. I never thought to do that.
Well, one thing I do is kind of bouncing off that, Nandor, is whenever I go to start the script again, I'll always start from the top and then rewrite down. And
that's what I do too, John.
So,
wherever I stop.
Yeah.
And then you start changing stuff as you're going.
And then you're like, oh, 100%. I can rework this. Like that's where the discoveries are made for sure.
That, and I also love when you put a script away for a couple weeks and it feels like someone else wrote it, like you were just in your head, and you're like, shit, I came up with this weird, like some of the, it's wild.
I'm good. Like, this is
good. How about you, George? Do you write every day?
No. I mean, I like try to set aside time, like Mondays and Tuesdays for sure, because Tuesdays I do the show. Mondays I'm just like definitely just in here writing stuff, even for the show, you know what I mean? And like and then on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday mornings, I'll do, I'll wake up, do a little something, but like I'm not writing every single day. Like it's like I have, because I think at that point you're just like, oh, I gotta write today, you know what I mean? Like and that you want to
becomes like a
right?
burden in
It's a
some
chore
ways.
now, right? It's a job. I have to go do this. But no, I mean, I love to write anyway. So whenever I can, you know, even if it's on your phone, you're just typing something in.
Yeah,
or
always working on that next screen.
Yeah, you're always and to Tony's point, you're always thinking about your story. So yes, your mind is always going. You're always doing that. So yeah, I try to do that.
Well, and you know, I don't write every day because I still owe you. I still owe you that short story from when I was on your show like 2 weeks ago. But no, same. I don't write every day, but when I do know I'm gonna write, I make sure the day's clear, or what, you know, like my whole, you know, I have hours to sit and write, you know. But also, like Nandor, Tony, and George, I think about stuff constantly. Where's the story's going? What's, you know, what's the next project? What's the next idea to work on? Things like that, you know. So in that respect, always, you know, something's going on in the head, you know. So Johnny, same with you.
It's, you know, so it's writing is a function, right? Creating is the process that we go through in our head where we put the pieces together that we then lead to the function of writing. Do I write every day? Yes. I work at a job where I'm writing constant emails, cases that I have to write up for clients and based upon malfunctions in their software and things of that nature. So I write a lot. So it makes it really hard when I have to buckle down and actually write a script of a story. So when it comes to writing, a lot of it is creating in my head going, okay, I think I have the pieces together to start making my roadmap. And then that's when I sit down, make the roadmap, even though it's kind of circles and lines and a little bit's kind of artistic, it's still writing blocks. And then when it comes to actually doing the function of putting the pieces together into a script, that is what I would call actually writing. That's when I'm writing.
Awesome. Yeah. Great ender to that. That's awesome.
My girlfriend at the time was telling me about this show called The Slut Cracker, you know, and it was about that toy that came to life. You know, this woman's. I'm like, what? You know, I was in downtown Boston. I'm like, he's like, do you want to go? I'm like, not really. I don't. It's a slut cracker. I'm like, well, Harry. I mean, it's gonna be mostly women there, and some of the actresses are topless. I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. You know, to see what you're talking about. You know, and the toy that came to life had, like, you know, it was a toy, a woman's toy that came to life. Instead of a nutcracker, it was, you know, a toy that came to life. You know. I'm like, what am I watching here? You know, I'm like, whatever. I had to go through the story though. I mean, it was very bizarre. But the guy was.
Most people don't go to the burlesque show for the story, but I'm glad you were there for it.
That's probably why. The guy was wearing like a penis hat. You know, I'm like, what am I looking at? It was so bizarre. I'm like.
But we digress.
Right. Again,
I don't even know what we were talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Johnny,
get us back on track. Johnny,
you mentioned something.
I can't. All I can think of is a guy with a penis head. Thanks, Harry. Let's
It's
rewind
that time of year again. It's that time of year.
Let's